How to make procrastination boring and make hard work fun that will ultimately unlock everything you want. Because let's face it, every moment you waste is a step further from your dreams, a door closing on opportunities that may never reopen. 1, get enough sleep. Do whatever you need to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I suffer from PTSD issues from the military, and in my nightmares, I typically fight people who resemble my attackers. My wife stays away from me on our king-size bed because I physically act like I am fighting. I once dreamt that I had somebody in a triangle chokehold, but I actually had my wife's legs locked in mine. Suéltame! Let me go, she screamed. So I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night in a panic attack, hot, sweaty, and claustrophobic. I meditate to calm down, and sometimes I squeeze my muscles to stimulate my pineal gland to shoot melatonin into my body. I also set the thermostat to 65 degrees, and I have even had to put ice bags on my neck. When I can't get back to sleep, I walk around the house with these blue blocker glasses on. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, you're sabotaging your mind and body, dismantling your ability to function. Neglect sleep, and you risk a catastrophic collapse of health, ambition, and drive. Sleep will give you the energy and motivation to start your day as strong as possible. When you get enough sleep, the part of your brain that makes decisions and helps you focus, the prefrontal cortex, works much better. Thanks to the hippocampus, shaped like a seahorse on both sides of your head, roughly behind your ears, which consolidates this information, sleep helps your brain store memories and skills you've learned. 2, start work as soon as you get up. When I wake up, I keep my eyes closed and meditate for at least 10 minutes. While meditating, I visualize everything I will do as soon as I rise. I see myself performing those tasks as quickly and as intensely as possible. I'm priming my brain for action, turning intention into reality. This practice taps into the power of manifestation, where visualizing and focusing on your goals drives you to bring them into existence. If you hesitate in the morning, you forfeit the day's potential before it begins. This anticipation makes me eager to get what I need done. I tell myself I will be stronger, count to 5, open my eyes, and get up. I take a leak, brush my jammies, my teeth, and open up the laptop. Getting your work started first thing helps you get into flow. Flow is a mental state in which many reward chemicals are firing off in your brain. This chemical cocktail keeps you from getting bored with your task. When you're in flow, your brain's prefrontal cortex is highly engaged, and neurons in the ventral tegmental area, VTA, and substantia nigra release dopamine. Neurons in the locus coeruleus release norepinephrine, boosting your focus and motivation. In other words, you have consecutive automatic rounds of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, noradrenaline, endorphins, and anandamide shooting pleasure into your entire body. This natural high is the state in which you engage when time flies. You get lost in the work that you are executing. The work even becomes addictive. For instance, I am writing my thoughts for this video while another part of me wants to eat breakfast. I feel hungry, but the urge to get this done is stronger, for I can't stop. 3, eliminate all distractions. I wipe out any potential interruptions on the box, aka my computer. I close every tab except the ones I need to open to finish my work. Solely focus on the work you need to perform. Silence your phone. I have to admit, it can be hard for me to avoid watching a one-on-one basketball match between a street balling YouTuber and a retired NBA player. But here's the thing. These distractions aren't just harmless diversions. They're sneaky saboteurs, undermining your mission. Every unchecked notification is a thief stealing your focus and weakening your effectiveness. So I disintegrate it. I even click the option that reads, not interested or don't recommend channel, so it never harasses me again. If you have nothing else to do, then you will do what leads to getting your work done. For instance, many people in jail read, write, and work out more than they did on the streets because they have nothing else to do. Malcolm X copied the whole dictionary while he was locked up. By eliminating distractions, you help your brain's focus center, the prefrontal cortex, work without interference. Trying to multitask overloads your brain, making you less efficient. 4. Maintain focus. I typically work 3 to 4 hours upon waking, but many of you have to eat and probably have other things to do. If you can get into flow, 3 hours will be easy work. Aim for at least 1 hour of focused work. This start will allow you to build traction and easily pick up where you left off later in the day. 5. Fuel your drive. While doing whatever else you must do, visualize the goals you will reach by continuing to work on your task. I think about solutions to my problems in the shower, cooking, washing dishes, playing basketball, skating, etc. While my conscious mind is performing the routine task, my subconscious mind can work on the problem I have to solve. Try it for yourself. In the immortal words of G-Rap, took my time and wrote rhymes in the shower. Again, you anticipate how great it will be to do what you must do. Visualize yourself being happy, conquering tasks, and obtaining what you want. This manifestation will synchronize your frequency with what you want so you can attract whatever you require to your life and person. When you visualize yourself performing your tasks, your brain activates the same areas as if you were physically doing them, like the motor cortex and visual cortex. This mental practice strengthens connections in your brain, making it easier to perform the actual task. That's why you see NBA players like Steph Curry float in sensory deprivation tanks practicing making three-pointers in their minds. While off task or during your downtime, you may start procrastinating by aimlessly scrolling through social media, for instance. When doing something that does not help you reach your goals and objectives, pay close attention to how that activity makes you feel. Force yourself to feel the same way when doing what you think is boring or don't want to do. Labeling tasks as boring is self-sabotage, a poison that kills motivation. Reframe these tasks as epic quests, crucial battles in the war for your future. Your mindset is your weapon. Wield it wisely or fall victim to your own negativity. See, you only think something is boring because that is how you classify it. If you look at a book, see its thickness and all the words and describe reading as boring, that is how you will feel when you perform the activity. The task will be too painful because you tell your brain to be that way. You have to examine the activity and classify it in a way that describes what is epic about it. Changing your thoughts about a task can shift how your brain reacts. This brainwashing helps reduce negative feelings and increase motivation. The prefrontal cortex helps reframe thoughts, reducing adverse reactions from the amygdala, the brain's fear center. For instance, I write everything out, my plans for my videos, my offers, what I will say, etc. So I tell myself the following: strategizing and writing my offer or my post is hot, banging, off the hook. Repeat whatever word you use that describes any activity that makes you experience pleasure. First, do anything you like. Perform an unproductive activity you know will not lead you to complete your objectives. In my case, watching Netflix. In many other people's cases, it may be incessantly scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, seeking spiking dopamine hits. Sometimes you want to scroll for the variety of what you can find because our attention spans are scattered. Secondly, take note of how that activity makes you feel. Feel free to describe it in any way that comes to mind. Write it down if you have to. The only thing that is happening is that the images on your device stimulate your brain in a way that makes you feel good. Those images are just an arrangement of pixels. Our objective with this exercise is to force our brains to trigger our bodies in the same way or even better while we execute that hard work that leads us to complete our objectives. Another pixel arrangement is the hard work that requires you to write what you must do. The difference is that you decide how to arrange the pixels that make up your creation, life, and objectives. You can also add incredible images that you like displaying how you perform them. Thirdly, pretend that you feel like you are performing an unproductive act while performing a productive task. In other words, if I felt confident when I watched an exciting part of a movie, I would pretend that writing out the following sentence makes me feel the same way. I was watching Better Call Saul the other day. My son asked me whether I felt something when we saw a scene. A character called Nacho tossed some pills into his boss's jacket. The director shot the scene in a slow motion, like a basketball replay. The pills would ensure that the boss would get a heart attack. Oh, did you feel that? Lance asked. He added that he felt something in his eye. You can replicate these types of reactions when you're doing your work. To manifest everything you visualize, join us on school.com/Rod Squad. I remember feeling total disgust for Saul's older brother Chuck when Chuck admitted to Saul that he never wanted to help Saul become a lawyer because Saul was a con artist. Chuck said allowing his baby brother to practice law was like giving a chimpanzee a machine gun. He emphasized his dedication to the law and that Saul had no right to play with it. I hated that he put a man-made concept before his brother's love. In not such amicable terms, I exclaimed, "What a butthole." Now let's channel that energy into our work. If you don't, you risk your tasks becoming mundane chores that you'll endlessly postpone. As I feel forces now that want to stop me from writing out my thoughts for this video, I want to feel that disgust. Why? That feeling kept me glued to the tube or television. I even had to talk to my wife about that scene the following day. My wife and I have both felt betrayed by close family members. This scene in particular has multiple motivating components. The unsupportive, dismissive sentiments that my family members have expressed in my direction spur me into action. I can tell you several times when a family member told me I could not do something and the challenge pushed me to complete what they told me I could not do. For instance, my grand aunt once told me I could not fly to Colombia when I was broke and I had yet to buy the plane tickets 2 weeks before my expected departure. I did everything in my power to depart 2 weeks later. I even flew into an infrastructure-battered Venezuela where law enforcement officials and government authorities were more dangerous than criminals. We had to bribe our way out of the country, but made it to Colombia. You must seek those feelings, focus on them, and amplify them. Let them fuel you to accomplish everything you must. Relive the experience and feel the way you felt. Now position your body powerfully, amplifying that feeling 100 times. By harnessing intense emotions, you activate parts of your brain that boost motivation and drive, like the amygdala, which processes emotions, and the ventral striatum, part of the reward system. Strong feelings can help you focus better and remember more, making your efforts more effective. So I felt disgusted and pictured the close relatives who made me feel the same way. I remember all the challenges and belittling behavior they expressed. Now I stand or pose how I would feel conquering those challenges. How would you position your body if you felt in the way that you need to feel to complete your assignment? I even remember sprinting from one side of Miami International Airport to the other, holding 2 suitcases to catch the flight to Caracas. I pump my arms like I did that day. I stand with my chest out and let the energy flow to every body part and complete my task as fast as possible. On that note, the following suggestion is not mandatory, but it helps me a lot. If you don't know how to type, I advise learning to do so. I learned how to type in the 8th grade, and it is one of my most valuable skills. The reason is that typing allows me to write any thoughts fast in a more organized structure than just dictating. As I type my thoughts, I can build momentum with the work that I am performing. If you can't type, vocally dictate your words in a Google Doc. Whatever works for you to get into flow. You don't have to limit the feelings that fuel your work to disgust. Use any feeling. It can be anxiety, fear, anticipation, excitement, curiosity, unease, empathy, or any other intense emotions you experience when doing something unproductive. If you like laughing, incorporate something that makes you laugh into your work. For me, sometimes it's thinking of seeing pipeheads poop in the staircase. Or I laugh when I remember smelling a doorman's sticky breath when I walked into his lobby and asked him whether my friend was there. He stood in the doorway at least 15 feet away and I could smell the aged funk of dry defecation when he barked, Tico not here. I smelled it and backed into the street while slamming the door shut so we could block the bad breath with the door. You can incorporate those emotion-stirring experiences into your work by including details or reliving them as fuel to keep doing what you need. Positive emotions and humor activate your brain's reward system, releasing dopamine in areas like the nucleus accumbens. This inclusion enhances creativity and problem solving, leading to better performance and increased satisfaction in your work. Thirdly, command yourself. One thing I do is tape a note to the top of my monitor reading, "I love this." Once I start yawning or feel the pain begin to creep in and something in my mind says, "I hate this, this sucks, it's so boring," or something similar, I tell myself, "I love this," and I repeat it to myself 1 to 5 times. Otherwise, you may risk falling asleep or going back to scrolling social media on your phone. You become the rabbit and let the turtle win because you slacked off. My son told me he was lying to himself, telling himself he felt good about doing math or anything else painful. He can't lie to himself. My response is that you are commanding yourself. You have several parts of your mind, body, and soul. Only some very manipulative parts are telling you that you hate doing something. Using positive affirmations and self-talk engages the part of your brain that helps with self-control and planning. Again, the prefrontal cortex. This practice can help override negative thoughts and improve motivation. You must command that part of the mind with a more logical sense to do what is required by brainwashing, persuading, or whatever you call compels the rebellious part of what to do is necessary to meet your objectives. Watch the video you see on the screen right now so you can bring into existence everything for which you work tirelessly as fast as possible.